Season of the Witch is a 1982 horror film directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, one of the producers from the original 1978 Halloween. And it was also produced, go figure, by the director of the original Halloween, John Carpenter, and screenwriter Deborah Hill. So after Halloween and Halloween 2, happy Halloween, by the way. Happy Halloween, kind of the, best day of the year. No, no big deal here. I just do this, the entire year. Happy Halloween, guys. I'm gonna jump into talking about Halloween 3, because let me tell you, if there was ever a movie to work up my list of favorites, Halloween 3 is that movie. And I know this is a polarizing movie. Like, some people really don't like this movie, but the hardcore fans do. I myself being a hardcore fan, I really do love Halloween 3. I consider it to be one of my favorite movies. There's so much right with it, and I know it's not for everybody, and it does have its issues. I'm not gonna, sugarcoat it, but at the end of the day, Halloween 3 is, in my opinion, one of the funnest movies, one of the best looking movies, and I'm really glad to be talking about it today on Halloween. So after the success of Halloween, Universal Studios jumped on the bandwagon for Halloween 2. And John Carpenter came back, although kind of reluctantly, to do Halloween 2, because Halloween was kind of a perfect wrapped present. Done. Boom. Halloween. Halloween 2 comes around, more gory, more influenced by the slashers of that day, and at the end of that, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill said, you know what, let's do a third Halloween, but let's start making this an anthology series, not just about Michael Myers. Michael Myers is maybe like the serial killer part. Now we're going to do witches, and then down the road maybe vampires, or, continue the Halloweeniness, different characters experiencing stuff on Halloween. Well, the movie came out, and audiences and critics alike were upset. There was no Michael Myers, there was no classic theme, there was nothing. Jamie Lee Curtis was a voice in it for like 2 seconds, and it disappointed a lot of people, and I can really understand why. It is completely unlike the first 2 Halloween movies in every way, and it's the only Halloween film in the franchise to not feature Michael Myers or the tie-ins to the first movie. In fact, in Halloween 3, the original Halloween is playing on TV, so it's kind of outside of that world of Haddonfield, Illinois. Halloween 3 is about a doctor who meets this girl whose dad died mysteriously after trying to get this evidence of this Halloween mask, this pumpkin mask made by the Silver Shamrock Novelties Company. And he is killed, and then his attacker lit himself on fire in his car and died. And the only things they could find in the car, not blood, not bones, just metal pieces. So there's a mystery at the beginning of the film, which causes the protagonist, the doctor, played by Tom Atkins, and this girl to go to this very isolated town where the Silver Shamrock Company has taken over. The town is named Santa Mira, I'm pretty sure. And they begin to discover the sinister underbelly of this organization and why they're actually mass producing these Halloween masks just in time for the big giveaway at 9 o'clock on Halloween night, playing on all of the best stations. So that plot sounds nothing like the original Halloween. It's not a slasher movie. It has elements of Halloween, and it carries over in cinematography. Dean Cundy, who was the cinematographer on the first 2 Halloweens, moved into this role, and this film is beautiful. This is one of my favorite shot movies. It feels so genuinely fall and Halloween, even in California, which I'm sure, like where I live in Florida, doesn't have the same seasonal change as perhaps an up north state. But it still lends itself well and is very aesthetically pleasing to watch. Also has a really great score by Alan Howarth and John Carpenter, of course. And everything about this movie is interesting to me. It's got robots, it's got masks, it's got a novelties company, witches, of course, the titular witches. The performances are over the top. It's a hammy movie. You gotta take that into consideration with this film. It's not trying to be super scary, I don't think. There are some intense scenes, but nothing too scary. This movie is more about providing this very weird story and mixing it up a little bit, having some fun with the Halloween franchise, and I couldn't respect it more. To me, it's probably the second best Halloween of the bunch after the original, although I really like Halloween 2 as well. Halloween 3 is just far more interesting, because 2 is very similar to the first one, except being in a hospital. Halloween 3 is where things get interesting. And then, of course, after this one, they brought back Michael Myers in 4, which I also really enjoy, but it's not the same. It's not the same as Halloween 3. There's something special about this movie. So, to spoil it, and I would recommend not watching this if you haven't seen the movie, so click off now. But, for those of you who either don't care or have seen Halloween 3, then you know that the masks have a chip in the back that actually go to like another dimension where this witch guy, the guy who founded the Silver Shamrock Company, who is this Celtic witch, and actually practiced Samhain, the original holiday of Halloween, uses this chip to basically kill kids by putting spiders and snakes and weird stuff in their head, and cockroaches. It's so bizarre, it's so over the top, and it's such a weird concept that you'd go, who thought of this? But yet, somehow, through all of that, Halloween 3 manages to be a fantastic film. It's just so bonkers, it's just so weird, it has so much Halloween spirit to it, and it feels so genuine. And it does kind of say something about how fast a plot like this, to wipe out all of these kids, could go if got into the hands of a witch. Not saying that that's a realistic, like, plot, but it plays out how you would kind of expect. The kids buy the mask at the store, there's a special, and of course the magic comes in with the chip relaying to the television, but it's still really cool. I really appreciate Halloween for what it is. It probably doesn't deserve a 5 out of 5, but I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 because I love this movie, and I watch it every Halloween now. It's one of my Halloween traditions. I've collected a lot of the masks from the movie. I am a big fan of the film, and I've said that a lot in this review because a lot of people don't talk about this movie or don't want to acknowledge it, but I'm very adamant in saying I am a fan of Halloween 3, and I hope more people will respect it. In fact, this is my hunch. If the Halloween 3 label was dropped and this movie was just called, like, I know it's not John Carpenter's directed movie, but, you know, it'd be like John Carpenter's Season of the Witch as its own thing, would be more highly esteemed, and among his other works, you know, in his roster of films that he produced and or directed. And I really feel bad for Tommy Lee Wallace for directing this movie and having to live up to the other two, because it does stand on its own, but when compared to the Michael Myers plot, it just is so jarring that I could see why people weren't a fan of it. However, I like sci-fi horror, and though this movie almost isn't sci-fi but more magic, it still ties into that, and that's one of the best reasons as to why I enjoy this movie. So, 5 out of 5 for Halloween 3. A very weird Halloween treat to you guys, but I hope you stay safe, don't wear any Silver Shamrock masks, and enjoy the rest of this most festive of days. Thank you for watching, and remember, for all things Halloween, this is Hauntformer.
And happy Halloween.